Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I'm back up joined again by Jimmy, Jake, and Jason.
Allegedly.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, fellas?
And I just realized we're back to the Triple J's. Today's matchup is me versus Jason. Jason is playing Xeno Goku, the one that gains Double Strike. And I'm playing AoD because, well, Jimmy will tell you why.
He's a little bitch.
There you go. Yeah, there's buttons on board. There's links. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. And one of those links will save you $15 off your first purchase on Whatnot. Just, give it a check out. All right, so Xeno Goku. What inspired? Because I don't think I've ever seen you bring this deck. Maybe you have. I just missed it.
I've been wanting to build it for a long time. And then, I don't know, there's been a lot of good black cards that come out recently. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing it. Plus, no one else is playing it right now, so.
Yeah, there's quite a few cards that have come out to support this over the past couple of sets. Especially Anniversary Box gave it a pretty big boost with its Z card. And plus the Massan, which I think might be in your hand currently. Yeah, like there's just a lot of really good black support, and it's getting to a base where black is has a base to stand on where it previously didn't. At least for the Overwhelm strategy.
And just want to point out, I did mulligan all 6 of my cards, and I still didn't see 1 of 8 cards. So that's pretty rough.
1 of 8 cards. What are those 1 of 8 cards, Ben?
4 hatch or 4 bobbities. Didn't see a single one.
You deserve that.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So I had to actually pay for the extra card and hope to see a hatch, pretty much. And I did not see a hatch off that one. So here I was just like, all right, you're going to burst some stuff. And you actually didn't hit any of your targets on the burst.
No, I didn't.
But I did feel like you could still get some pretty good hits in. So you start with an overwhelm target.
Not a bad turn 1 at all. No energy. He's already going to get pressure and draw a couple of cards.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, in this case, like, I was okay with it because I typically do wake on turn 2 anyways. So if he wants to apply that pressure, he can. And he lets me get the cards of my life, and hopefully one of those cards is the card I need. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. It might be a Vegeta, but one of the 1-drop black cards, is it a crit when it swings?
The Vegeta is a critical, I believe.
Okay, because he played that, I'm like, oh, is that the crit one? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, good. And conveniently enough, that was the Bobbity Life.
Nice.
Lucky you.
Yeah, no, it felt great.
The base of 1-drop cards for Xeno Gogeta is still surprisingly strong, even with the errata on the Goku. Like, all of those cards are really potent for 1 energy. And plus that one particularly, and I think the Vegeta as well, is basically a Kaba effect of being able to pick up your own life, which is getting stronger and stronger with Z leaders. We don't have a great base of black Z leaders just yet, but once we do, those cards are going to be very strong on getting your life total down to a Z Awaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think instead of getting Double Strike, it just gets the boost, and then it's got that counter-punishing effect as well. I really like the design of that. I think the Vegeta, like, punishes energy restanding or something like that.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
So they've both got a lot of unique utility that I think is where, like, Black shines, honestly, is, like, it's value cards also having utility, and you don't have to really tech out your deck that deeply.
Yeah, and that Vegeta is if someone restands an energy that doesn't use an Awaken skill, they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to the ward.
Which can be very punishing. Especially with Bean being a defensive card now. You never want to activate a card defensively and still lose value. So, very, very strong.
So I want to talk about that turn real quick. You did opt to crit a life. I did have a pretty fat hand, and I felt like you were try and get another 4 anyway, so it worked out in your favor. And then when I passed turn, you question, you're like, you're not gonna attack your card. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I was expecting you to swing with it. Honestly, so
I felt like if I swung to it, you'd be in a more comfortable place. But instead, where I play cards that can, like, a lot of your 1-drops, you could swing and take a life for them. And I do play, Android 13 in AoD deck. So my thought process was like, he's going to try to force himself to go down to 4 life. And when he does, I'll just stall on that part and just make it harder for him to awaken when he wants to and just kind of play control the field for a bit. Because truth be told, I couldn't remember everything that can actually happen with an overwhelm deck. So we haven't seen that in a while at our shop, actually. So I did side in 2 of my Dirty Bursts just in case. I was like, I can't remember what the limitation of his overwhelm cards are going to be like. So that's why I'm also playing a little bit more defensively, because I don't want to super crack off, just crack back just in case.
Yeah, I don't know. Dirty Burst is really solid against their big triple attack Gogeta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so this is an interesting interaction. Most AoD cards do flex between 15 and 20k. And you thought it was a flat 15. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to Sensu Bean and put it on the leader. And it bounces. He's like, what? So I'm letting you get that extra combo in. And then here I'm deciding I'm still going to Sensu Bean on the leader to resend my 2 energy. But then I let my Jinaba die anyways.
yeah, because I knew I was going after leader, but I forgot you used a blocker. So
yeah. And I do like this little tech piece. Now, it obviously makes sense in a deck that likes Overrealm, but being able to just do it twice, and a lot of the cards I think you play, it's the Black Mass Saiyan that you can use as a stopping a double strike or triple strike. But its auto is on play. You put cards back into your drop. You got the Trunks that feeds your drop as well. So you have ways of cycling and just doing Overrealm twice, which is just a fantastic choice.
Yeah. This Demigra, you pretty much have to have it if you're going to play an Overrealm strategy. And it unfortunately kind of locks you into playing either this Black Goku leader, because there's not many other decent Saiyan-only leaders or God-only leaders in Black that facilitate Overrealm. So you're pretty much locked to this Goku leader and Supreme Kai at a time if you want to utilize your Demigra. I would like to see Black get another option of putting Wormhole on the field outside of like the Demigra leader and this particular Unison, because that would be a changing point.
I think the Z deck is an excellent place for a card like that to exist, because if you're playing a Wormhole strategy, it's probably so integral to your build that you need access to it at all times, and I think a Z card would be perfect for that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Son Goku for the mission, basically you play it, and it's only 1 Z energy, and you can basically you can get the Demigra Unison out of your deck into your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and although I don't think I played it during this match, I do run 4 of them.
Yeah, you don't have really many better options for your Z deck in Black, so just having that Goku at the ready is fantastic. But with the amount of Unison hate in the next set, it kind of feels bad. Like, this is a deck, until you brought it, I was like super hyped to test and play around with it, but then seeing all of the Unison hate, it's like, well, I'm never going to keep the Demigra Unison.
Yeah, unless you have a Unison that just racks up markers, or there happen to be more than 2 specific costs, it's not going to be good, unfortunately. And something like this will shut that down entirely.
Yeah, more or less. That's why I was really hoping that they would come out with the Z leader. If not for this leader, another leader that would give it Wormhole, which would be kind of nice. Get there, Bandai.
I would hate to see Overwhelm go back to just being like a support skill that you just slot in 1 or 2 Overwhelm cards into your list. Because as a historic black player, Overwhelm is just really, really fun to play, and there's so many cool Overwhelm cards that I would hate to see it get relegated back to just being a support for another deck.
Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, why you have very low hand right now, and for a single damage, I feel like you push really hard that turn. Is there a reason for it by chance?
I was trying to get as rid of many negates and stuff as possible out of your hand. So my next turn, I had plays that I was setting up for, depending on what cards I get.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping I would awaken to be able to awaken on my next turn. And then you'll see what happens later during my next turn.
Well, I will say, going down the 3 cards in your hand kind of gave me an idea for this turn. And that was really just to machine gun down your Unison. So you're not gaining any extra support. And just, once again, possibly just leaving it out there and seeing how you try to push back.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and tell you. At this point, like, I know usually in a deck like this, you'll want to be able to overwhelm twice. But going into my next turn and being able to awaken, I was possibly going into the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the black and red one. And I also, I think I had Thoriting in my hand at this point.
Yeah, you do.
So being able to overwhelm twice next turn wasn't that crucial for me. I was trying to go two other ways that I was trying to go during the next match.
And just for clarification, the instinct was to put down Bojack, swing, tap 2, and then I was like, oh wait, that's a bad call. You let me take that play back, and I just played Broly to search and just pass turn, because if I would have, if I recall correctly, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bojack's thing is that your opponent's the leader, can't attack, but if they awaken, it's a new instance of the card, right? I can't remember exactly. That's why I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to call you over during the match.
I mean, you didn't. That's what you're supposed to do.
I felt fine.
But yes, there's so many rules around leaders right now, especially with Z leaders and how they interact with cards that target a leader. So, like, if you Z Awaken while your leader's locked down is a new instance of the card, and in that case, it's yes. So, anytime you would lock it down, you usually want to lock it down on their backside or once they've already Z Awakened, so that they can't weasel their way around it. Fuck that Android 13 card. I know it's got no skills negated, but I just want to say fuck that card.
Bro, it's so strong.
Yeah, no, it's super strong. And like the mindset here is that I'm just trying to just get a field ready for your following turn. And here you see I had another one in my hand because you did rebuild those 2 cards. And if I recall correctly, even though they're both, I don't think they're placed. I think as soon as it hits, it's like 1, 2, 3. She gets played, and then Vegeta gets played afterwards. But Anti-Protecting wouldn't hit Vegeta anyways because he's a 4 cost.
There are separate auto skills, so you wouldn't be able to blanket counter them like if it were to play both of them off the same skill.
That's what I thought, and I think I even said that to him. I was like, I don't think it matters. I think they play individually.
Mm.
Yeah, we went over that during the match.
And here you're going into the 6-drop. I'm like, okay, cool.
Good old feigned greeting. Bandai, reprint that shit, please.
They did.
Like,
damn.
Again and again.
They did at what, Gen Con?
Like, print it as a common in the next set. Like, damn, come on, please.
I forgot we have, like, me and Fluff have 4 of them of the original
this would
arts.
This would be a perfect tournament promo in the way that they did like Violent Rays and the recent Harudegarn reprint.
Yes.
That's the problem. It was a tournament pack card to begin with. Fuck that card.
So here you did play the new Mass Saiyan card from Anniversary, which is 7 cost, and it's a single strike that gains crit, and I just didn't want to deal with that. And you had one card in your hand, so I went ahead and Dirty Burst that because it is a 7 cost. And at this point, I feel kind of comfortable because, like I said, you only have one card left in your hand currently.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Dirty Burst when it came out.
And here I'm just letting you know what does what effects because you get to choose 2 cards, I think, to send them to the warp. And
Yes.
I get them back with their skills negated at the end of my following turn. And I was kind of explaining, like, okay, these are 15k, this was a 20k, this is the counterplay guy, and you chose the counterplay in my 20k, which is, I think, smart.
I'd like to talk about this Mass Saiyan card here. I think this is a possible path that Bandai could take to work around the wormhole issue of making cards that benefit off of you overwhelming and activating your effects to warp your own cards by reducing cost or playing for free off of that. I know they want to get away from free play, which is understandable, but print more cards like this so when you overwhelm you can follow up with another card, and this is essentially a secondary overwhelm for just 1 energy if you want to think about it that way.
And it's amazing. I completely agree. I think that's a great option to get around that.
I love the design of this Mass Saiyan card. It is breathed new life into mono black to me.
And the was not expecting you to play this guy though.
No, the Authority.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I had cards on the field to combo with, but I wanted to make sure I had enough cards to kind of like to swing back into you with. So it would, yeah. Even though I was able to combo out of it, it did felt like it hurt me in a sense because, like, depending on what these cards in your life are going to be, that may have like swayed the game in a sense from what it's currently looking like right now.
Do you
Yeah.
have anything in hand, B?
No, that was the last card I had in hand.
That was the last card
So-
he had. I have, I think, still like 6 cards.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
But there was a mix between unisons and extra cards, I think. Oh, yeah. So here I'm starting to kind of like just poke with the 15Ks, do what I can do. You're gonna be able to awaken, which you're a hybrid, so you get reset 1 energy, you get a card, an extra card in your hand. And I just got to try to like poke where I can and just try to play this turn a certain way.
It's so unfortunate that you drew into the new Dark Broly at a 0 combo.
Yeah. I was hoping for a negate or something because I run quite a bit of negates in the deck actually. So I was surprised I didn't come across with one.
And I will say in this match, when you first crit that the life from the Xeno blade, that was a super combo, and you've also bursted a super combo too during this game.
Yeah. So my super combo, I actually will try to use it fairly quickly because it's one of the cards I can use to get Thwarting out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I run 4, so I thought I would come across at least one more other than the one I used early on.
And this is just an example of how Jimmy mentioned like free play cards because the leader's able to just dump a card on there. So outside of getting those initial 4 attacks of battle cards, one, the leader's like, I free played a card to get a swing. I overwhelmed to get a swing, and I'm not expending any energy yet this turn.
Yeah, some of these aggro decks in the later turns can be really scary.
Yeah, I was really hoping for another battle card, not a unison.
The unison, even though it's 3 energy, it cleared your board in case I could not get the game. And here I could be able to combo up to, I think it was 40 was the max, and you couldn't. That was it, unfortunately, for you.
Yeah.
Good game.
Call him a little bitch, Jason. Do it. Tell him he smells funny.
I did. Because, like I said, I have AoD built too, and we've gone over this before, and you kind of tell me what cards are the best, and I pretty much have almost exactly what you have.
Yeah. Well, Jason, if you play the deck, you're not a little bitch, but Bancroft is.
Of course. Remember to read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and fluff out.